Listen carefully, because the first thing that kills people in a total blackout isn't panic or looters or even violence. It's confidence, the belief that this will be fixed soon. That assumption quietly delays every smart decision you need to make, and by the time reality hits, the window to survive has already closed. Nobody warns you about that part. When the lights go out everywhere, not just your street but entire regions, the danger doesn't arrive like a movie explosion. It creeps in through small, boring failures that compound fast. And most people don't die dramatically. They fade out from things they never thought could kill them. The first real killer is dehydration, not because water disappears overnight, but because clean water does. You can survive weeks without food, but only days without safe hydration, and blackout conditions turn modern plumbing into a liability. Water pressure drops as pumping stations fail, pipes backflow, contamination spreads silently. People keep drinking because the tap still runs, not realizing that one compromised valve upstream can introduce bacteria, heavy metals, or sewage into the system. Diarrhea, vomiting, fever. Your body loses more water than it takes in, and dehydration accelerates. In survival science, fluid balance is life balance. Once electrolytes crash, confusion follows, then organ failure. This is why experienced responders always prioritize water purification over food storage. This section is based on practical field survival experience rather than formal academic sources. The second killer arrives disguised as comfort: temperature mismanagement. Blackouts don't just mean darkness, they mean no climate control. In extreme heat, your body becomes a furnace with no exhaust fan. In cold, you bleed heat faster than you can generate it. What people miss is how fast this happens indoors. Apartments trap heat. Houses lose it. Heat stroke doesn't feel dramatic at first. It feels like fatigue and irritation until your core temperature crosses a line your organs can't tolerate. Hypothermia, on the other hand, makes you calm, sleepy, irrational. People take off clothes because their nerves misfire. Both states impair judgment long before they become fatal, which means victims rarely save themselves. The physics is simple. Your body is constantly trading heat with its environment, and without external regulation, that trade becomes lethal. This section is based on practical field survival experience rather than formal academic sources. The third thing that kills early is carbon monoxide poisoning, and this one is brutally ironic because it comes from trying to stay alive. Generators, charcoal grills, propane stoves, people drag them indoors or into garages thinking ventilation is good enough. It's not. Carbon monoxide is colorless, odorless, and binds to your blood over 200 times more efficiently than oxygen. You fall asleep before you feel danger. Entire families don't wake up. Emergency rooms see this spike every major blackout, and the death count is always higher than reported. The science is unforgiving. Once hemoglobin is occupied by carbon monoxide, oxygen transport collapses. Fresh air too late doesn't always save you. This section is based on practical field survival experience rather than formal academic sources. The fourth killer is infection, the old enemy we pretend modern society defeated. Minor cuts, blisters, burns, normally meaningless, become entry points when sanitation breaks down. No running water, limited soap, reused bandages, and suddenly bacteria you coexist with every day gain the upper hand. Add malnutrition and stress hormones suppressing your immune system, and infections progress fast. Sepsis doesn't announce itself with pain at first. It announces itself with confusion and weakness. By the time fever spikes, treatment options are gone. Military survival manuals emphasize wound care not because injuries are common, but because infections are inevitable. This section is based on practical field survival experience rather than formal academic sources. The fifth killer is exhaustion-driven decision collapse. Sleep deprivation rewires your brain. After 48 to 72 hours of poor sleep, your risk assessment is shot. You take risks you'd normally avoid. You trust people you shouldn't. You forget steps. In blackout conditions, nights are darker, louder, and more stressful. Cortisol stays high. Even when you lie down, your brain doesn't shut off. This is why experienced survivors obsess over sleep discipline. A tired human is a reckless human, and reckless humans don't last. This isn't motivational. It's neurological. The prefrontal cortex literally loses control. This section is based on practical field survival experience rather than formal academic sources. The sixth killer is crowd psychology. Not mobs, not riots, patterns. Humans cluster around perceived resources, water points, aid centers, rumors. Density increases risk of violence, disease, and scarcity. The most dangerous places after a blackout are not isolated homes, but help zones that haven't actually stabilized. People assume safety in numbers, but biology disagrees. Stress plus scarcity plus anonymity equals aggression. You don't need everyone to turn violent. Just one desperate person in a dense group. This is why evacuation timing matters more than evacuation itself. This section is based on practical field survival experience rather than formal academic sources. The seventh killer is the slowest and most ignored. Metabolic crash from stress and poor nutrition. Even if you have food, your body under chronic stress burns through glycogen and muscle faster than expected. Blood sugar swings cause dizziness, irritability, poor decisions. People with no prior conditions suddenly faint. Those with diabetes, heart issues, or hypertension spiral quickly. Survival isn't just about calories, it's about metabolic stability. Protein, salts, hydration, and rest matter more than volume. This section is based on practical field survival experience rather than formal academic sources. Here's the part nobody likes hearing. None of these killers are dramatic. They don't look like apocalypse. They look like normal days that quietly stack consequences. That's why they work. That's why they win. Survival isn't about bravery or toughness. It's about early humility. The moment you accept that the system may not come back tomorrow, your odds jump. You stop waiting. You start managing physics, biology, and psychology instead of hoping. And hope, in a blackout, is not a strategy.